So while I took my DNA, um, a family member told me that my dad was not my dad. But during that time, I did not think about it too much because I was young. I was raising my kids.
Right.
I had to focus on my kids. And then, I guess like once that box opened, once they said that, I started hearing bits and pieces around. Okay.
Okay.
So before DNA even came out, I was like, I would do a search on a certain name. And, but he had a whole common name. Like everybody had that name. Um, so my grandparents basically was like saying, they would try to help me find him. Um, they did give me a name. Um, my how can I put this? I had asked family. I had started to ask family, um, like, what are they talking about, and who is my dad?
Was
Um,
this I'm sorry to interrupt. Was this his side or mom's side or like your
on my
mom maybe?
I was asking because that's who I was raised with. You know, I was raised by my mom. I was with my grandparents a lot. You know, um, so I asked a lot of people on my mom's side,
Okay, gotcha.
like who he was. Nobody really wanted to say anything. Thanksgiving came and I cooked,
Mhm.
prepared everything, brought everything. And before everybody, I invited everybody to my house, and before they they thought we was gonna say grace, and I asked, I was like, "Well, who's my daddy?"
Oh, wow.
And they started, stuttering, getting loud, like it was just a simple question.
Right.
So their behavior showed me something different. So I just told everybody to get up out my house. Everybody left. Years went by. My mom passed. My birth certificate dad passed. And then my grandfather passed.
Okay.
And that's when I noticed the family that I grew up with, they distanced themselves from me.
Oh.
2020, we everybody sitting in the house. I was bored, kids doing Zoom, and I was like, I need something to do. So that's when I did the ancestry.
Oh, okay.
And father's side, because they kept saying they was adamant about, oh, he's your father, he's your father. No, DNA don't lie. Y'all do.
Mhm.
Oh,
Wow.
Alexandria.
Mhm.
This where it all happened. Right there in town. Right in town. I had asked a lot of people in Alexandria. I had asked one of the elders. She's deceased now, but she said, girl, that was something we swept up underneath the carpet, that rug. But I heard that
Right.
like, whole community, because all of them basically, like my mom's generation, they all went to Parker Gray. They all went to Parker Gray. And so if they're passing this secret around, passing this rumor around, how did it not get to my family ears? Because they was all a part of that, whole community. And even at my mom's funeral, nobody recognized me, nobody knew me. They was asking my sister, who was I?
Right.
And they kept saying, oh, I remember when she was yay high, so really nobody knew me.
Wow. This is
Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying because I kind of went through the same thing. But you researched. I found out the weirdest way with my situation, but we'll get to me another time. I'll be a story another time. But um, I do want to. You did give us some questions to ask or whatever, so we are going to find out. how all this played out for you, and, okay,
Um, my journey hasn't been as long as my cousin's. This is my cousin here.
okay.
She's actually more than my cousin. I feel like she's my rock.
Uh-huh.
She's my rock
Gotcha.
through this whole thing because wow. I initially filled out my ancestry kit just on a humble because I was adopted at like a year old, and I was raised and had my adoptive parents, had my brother, I had a sister, and I never really wanted to look. I feel like my parents, like, they raised us, like, I
Mhm.
feel like I just always grew up knowing I was adopted, which was fine, but, like, gee, like, for the most part, the family didn't treat me any different or anything like that, but looking back now, like, sometimes there would be, like, little, like, I don't know what you wanna call it, like, glitches almost, like, people wanted to say something, but nothing ever came out.
Mhm.
Um, so it just so happened, like, my brother, who was also adopted, he did his DNA kit, and he found his whole entire family. Like, it was easy. I was like, "Wow, really?" And I knew of another cousin that had did it, found his whole cousin, aunts, mom, everything was just laid out. Everybody's right here on the Eastern Seaboard. And I'm like, wow, okay, maybe. Then I finally did it because my brother kept bugging me, really. And I was like, okay, let me go ahead and see what I can find. But I never really wanted to find not so much like my mom and dad because I had so many mixed feelings about that part
Right.
because of what was in my adoption papers about her. Um, but I did want to find because I supposedly have six brothers and sisters out there.
Mhm.
And at that point they have children. I have kids of my own. And I'm like, wait, they're of dating age. And if I can prevent any craziness,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the most
you
important
know?
part. Yes, the most important part.
Exactly. Exactly. So I was like, let me go ahead and do this. So I did, and what came back, it'll be a year next month since I did my kit. And I was expecting my to find aunts, no. I had 18,000 cousins, and that was it. And that
Wow.
number is still climbing to this day. Now it's at 19,000 some
Mhm.
cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank goodness for those cousins, because I met this one right here, and like I said, she's been my guide through all of this, helping
That's
navigate all the crazy emotions. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely. It's the
Yeah.
wow. I'm
Yes,
sorry, I
ma'am.
know I'm
No,
long-winded.
you're fine. You're fine. And that's great that you 2 were able to connect, now that y'all are both finding out things or whatever.
So my question, I'm gonna start with the family secrets and generational silence. How did
Mhm.
um you think that the older generations kept
You're breaking.
uh-oh, for long term impacts? So the older generations, a lot of them kept these secrets from children and family members and things of that nature. Do you guys think that um the older generation kept it for a any particular reason as far as family status or uh just
Oh, most,
Yeah.
oh, most definitely they did for
Mhm.
family status. Because, okay, so let's say that what happened between two, it did not involve everybody else. Okay, involved that
correct.
surname, that family surname. Okay, um, but my thing is,
Yeah.
why the secret? Why the secret? Because if we tell our secret, then every other secret that transpired is going to be exposed. Because what
Yeah.
we see and what we have seen in the trees, and I'm just going to give you one example. A lady, okay, a lady who, I'm just going to say, okay, how I'm going to do this? I'm going to say MC
Mhm.
married EW, okay? MC father was JC. MC divorced and married her father's brother's son. You feel me?
Yeah. Too much connectivity there.
Too
Yeah.
much. Like, how you gonna marry your first cousin
Right.
and then having kids,
Mhm.
kids in the family with certain family members and passing these children off,
Right.
not giving them no type of identification of who they are, just letting children assume, oh, this is my mom, this is my dad. So it's un, it's like until someone in the family step up and be like, no, let's put a stop to this. It's going to continue.
Because sometimes, in my situation, like the more I dug in, was like I really felt like I needed to have that truth. I need to have that truth because so much was hidden, so much was withheld. I grew up, I'm in my 50s, and I grew up thinking one way, and come to find out every rabbit hole I go down, there's something else. There's something else.
Mhm.
Something else. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you
yeah.
find out things like that, well, I mean, because mine was not so much mysterious and didn't make me search because of things I was finding out. I found out by accident, and I don't think that day was the intentional day I was supposed to find out. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, my mom had left a letter on the table that those little papers we had to take to school every first day of school,
Mm,
your principal.
mhm.
And she would always give them to me sealed up in the things, but this time she didn't have it in the envelope. She had it wide open on the table, and so when I looked at it, I said, "Oh," I said, "You made a mistake in circle stepfather." And right then and there, I'm literally circling 5 minutes before going to school. Oh, he ain't your dad. I'm like, what the
oh,
hell? So now I'm in school,
wow.
all confused, trying to figure out
Yeah.
Wow.
who this is out here, who I'm into out here. Am I sleeping with my brothers? Am I sleeping
What?
with like
I
who is this guy?
what is happening? Yeah.
Right. You're gonna
I'm
tell
right
me
before school.
5 minutes before I go to school. So now
Oh,
I'm in school not listening to nothing the teacher's saying because I'm like, who's my daddy? Like who is the guy? Like,
yeah.
oh, you don't do that.
What
So
is, am I sitting next to my brother? Am I?
exactly. Is my teacher my brother?
Yeah.
My father? Like what is
Like,
happening here?
so
So
like, I'm
yes.
looking at TV, like, do I see similarities? Oh, are they?
Yeah. And the hard part is back in the day, there was no Facebook, no social media.
Absolutely.
So for years, every man I kept seeing, I kept comparing myself to like, oh, he's short. Oh, he dark skinned like me. That might be him. He got lips like me. But he wasn't from here. So that's what made it more easier for me because I was like, well, he's not from here. So I don't intentionally,
Right.
think I will ever run into him. But
Right.
yeah. So,
Huh? Wow. Wow.
yeah. So
Just know
that's
that we're with people that can relate.
Exactly.
Nina, I know your questions will be next, but I want to say this before I forget. So
no good.
I'm very I like people to look at both sides of the coin per
Mhm,
se, and I like
mhm.
to play devil's advocate a lot. That's how I passed my classes. I went against what the whole class was saying just to prove a point, even if I knew it was wrong.
Right.
So, so my question would be like, okay, well, if you happen to have a child and you get into a relationship and that person adores your child, loves your child, adopts it, but this child doesn't have this knowledge of that you're not their parent. But they have a great life. Like raised them in a great life. They have, they've been educated. They've just had a great life.
Mhm.
How do you, how do you think that, or how do you think that a parent should tell their child something like that? That's the
Well,
thing to do.
right, right, right. So
Mm.
what I had that conversation with my researcher, and you know, when the child reaches legal age, because that's what my grandmother said to me, and that was like one thing that kind of like stuck out to me, what she said. Like I will always remember those words. She said, I finna, I finna thought your mama would have told you when you reached of age.
Mm.
See,
Okay.
that right there,
My
even if the child is adopted, let that be released, not unless something traumatic had happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but just let them know and let it be the child's choice if that child want to go searching for their parent.
Okay. Okay.
Because don't nobody want to be dating their brother, their
Absolutely.
cousin,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. Mm.
Yeah.
My daughter lots of siblings from her dad, and yeah, there's a lot of them. And I'm like, bro, you need to take a DNA before you do anything with nobody out there,
Exactly.
yes,
because we
please.
don't know. We just don't know.
Right. Right. And then the whole DMV area, that's a
Yeah.
big connection right there.
Absolutely.
Everybody
Yeah.
Absolutely.
is related one way or
Everybody. Yep.
another.
Absolutely. I'm still finding out people. I'm like, who? What? Okay, how you doing? I don't know where you are, but hi. Like 8,000. My cousin from 19. I'm like, okay, hi. I mean, my mom is one of 12, so that tells you right there how many cousins I got.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
But they're all upstate and down in Georgia, so
Mm,
I'm kind of a little bit. I'm a little bit better. um. Okay, I appreciate you answering that. Thank you. So you think that when they come of age, you should let them know.
yes.
Okay.
That's a
That's anybody
yeah.
because just don't. I mean, I still don't. I'm still particular with of who I date. I still ask questions because
Well, of course.
I don't know every relative.
Also,
Yeah,
right.
I don't know every. That's why I was going to
Nobody
cross
does.
over. I was
Absolutely.
going to
Nobody
cross
knows all
over
the
because I was
relatives like
like,
that.
I'll just date a white man or a Chinese guy and I'll be safe.
Mm,
You can't even really go
Just
back.
saying.
Be careful.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm like, I'll be safe if I just do it that
mhm.
way.
Yes.
I
I
don't want to cross over just because I don't know who my relatives is.
Yeah.
right. See, in my situation, I had okay. So my researcher found my biological mother.
Hmm.
So
Mm,
that was like I was sitting at work and she was like, "Are you sitting down?" I was like, "Nope, but I can sit. Hold on."
Mhm.
So I sat down and she sent me this picture. This woman looks just like me,
mhm.
or I look just like her, whichever. And it was like a blow because I'm looking at her and I'm like, okay, so she's still living.
Yep.
Um, and when you look at my tree, the names that are coming up in my DNA, those names are in my adopted family as well.
Mhm.
So
Mm,
See?
I feel
So that could be something else. Yep.
yes,
mhm.
There goes that rabbit
exactly.
hole.
So
Back
it
down
makes
there
digging
somewhere.
very hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like even to this day, like I have a DNA kit sitting down here for my husband right now. We've been married almost 30 years. I've got 3 kids.
Why
Wow.
is it so important to you to find out where
You breaking
the
up.
family? Yeah, looking up the family members and structures of that, because I do believe also you build your family older. You know, like there are people who are closer to me than my cousins. Like Nina, for example, she's been in my life for 14 years. I've had these cousins, but I've been around her way more. So to me, she's part of my village. She's my
Right.
family.
Mm,
Okay, right. That's the way I feel about right.
yeah.
Okay.
It's my village. I get that.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. It's like these newfound cousins,
Yeah.
we are finding they're closer than family
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
they're searching for the same. And like even looking at myself and DNA,
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
the majority is all these half cousins.
So many. So
And
Yeah.
it's nobody whole. We don't have a whole.
no.
It's a half. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
we're sharing one grandparent, but we don't know which grandparent we share because they're all just, and I'm just going to
Right.
be honest, they all was just messy.
Yeah.
Very,
Well,
very.
my grandmother always used to say, we all related somehow.
Yeah.
Yep. I used to
Period.
hear that a lot. Yes.
Mhm. And
Hmm.
when you start thinking about it and you go back and go back, we are somewhere
Yeah.
along the line. I'll figure out where we're related at.
Right.
Far along is the relation that, for example, I know that my child's father is. I know him, but somewhere down the line we probably related. But how
That,
far? You know what I mean?
I get it. I get it.
Like how
yeah,
far along the line do you say, okay, this is, you know, what I mean? Like this is okay.
Okay.
You know?
Right. Okay. So, pointing to that question right there. Okay. The reason I got my husband a DNA kit, right, is because I was researching. I'm like, okay, we got all that. And then one particular branch that I was researching one night, I'm sitting at work. I'm a security guard overnight, and this last name came up. That's my husband's name, and I'm like, wait a minute. Oh,
hmm,
on there's a whole branch.
yeah, yeah.
Like, we're in that DMV area. His family's
Yep.
around here too, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right. So
And
yeah, go
But
ahead.
you
I'm
gotta
sorry.
think, Alexandria is not that big. Alexandria is almost like just a huge community within
oh,
itself.
wow.
And today, like kids that I'm running into, their parents, I grew up as friends. We're friends, but their kids are now my cousins. Or,
Uh-huh.
Mm,
yeah. So now they're like, well, we've been friends a long time. So, this is your cousin. So, they're putting that,
Yeah.
well, we'll call you to take care of my kid because we've been friends. And I'm like, that's not how it goes. Like,
Oh,
I
oh,
still, we grew up together, but I still don't really know you that well. And I don't know your kid. Yes. But,
right.
it's kind of way. And it's like you knew me growing up, but you can't just always hand your child off to thinking that you know me like you think you know me. You don't even know what my
wow.
background is.
Right. That's true. That crosses into other things too. It's like, come on now.
Yeah.
Did you guys grow up in this area? Like, um, were you brought to this area, or were you born and raised in this area? How did you? Because like I got to this area because my dad's in the military, so I'm not even. I know all the people in Alexandria, but I'm not worried about it because I wasn't born here, so I don't really think like my cousins. But I mean, it's still possible. Don't get me wrong, because people move, but I
Yeah.
don't really.
Right.
I don't fret as much as I would think if I was born and raised here. That makes sense.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
born at Fort Belvoir. Okay.
Yep. So
But
yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. My mom was in the military, but I was raised in Alexandria. First it was Arlington when I was younger, then in Alexandria. Um, what is those apartments? No, townhouses or duplexes with the orange doors down from Queen Street.
With the orange
Yeah.
doors. Oh, Jefferson Village.
Yes. Yes. We was there.
I know my hoods.
And yep, and then we moved over there off of on Madison Street, okay? And then moved
Yeah.
down Route
I lived
1.
on Madison. You did?
Yeah,
I
We
lived on
all
1324 Madison Street.
girl,
that's
look,
awesome.
I live right on that corner. You know the Canal 8 that was right there on the corner?
Yeah.
We was right there in
Oh,
the
so you
back
was
of.
up from me. You was up from me. But
Mhm,
I was in the new project. 13,
okay.
yeah, 1324 Madison Street.
Mhm.
And I was on Payne Street across from Miss Dorothy's store.
Oh my gosh.
Right, that little house on the
Really?
corner. Yep.
Girl, I used to go to all the time.
And
Oh,
Boys Club
yeah.
and all of that. So see, yes, it's all like we all went through all of that stuff
Yep.
at different times. Though it seems like it was a cycle, though. You know what I mean? Like after you left, and another one of us came. That's crazy. That's awesome.
The
That's so cool.
generation changing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's awesome, though.
Wow. See, okay, mine's a little different. I'm from Maryland.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I was PG from what the papers say. Was
Right
born
now,
in
I gotta start thinking about that. Thank you.
It's definitely, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But of course,
Mhm.
the two papers I have about my adoption, I was born in PG, and then I was adopted from PG and went to the country, Frederick County. So I was raised there, and then I moved. I literally, because I grew up knowing I was adopted, and I'm looking at everybody like, okay. But when I started dating, I was like, well, my auntie, she wants to take me on. I moved. I graduated on a Tuesday. By Friday, I was on the first thing smoking to go to Montgomery County. I was like, okay, I can date down here. Not really.
Right.
Yeah, I went to, well, my husband now. It was so funny. We went on our date and everything. Things started getting serious. I brought him home to meet my aunt. And he came through the door and he starts talking and everything. My cousin's in the back room and she yells out and she was like, hey, is that little, I don't want to say his name. I was like, wait a minute. I came all the way down here so this wouldn't happen. What do you mean? But come to find out, she was her and her and my husband's aunt were roommates years
Mm.
ago. So I was like, okay, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
But it just shows like still small world, even, and now with this DNA search, it's really a small world. Like, cause most of the family that I'm discovering is in Virginia,
Right. Right.
biologically. So definitely got some Virginia ties, North Carolina, Georgia.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's another thing that we all have ties to the same parts of states and things like that. So
Right.
we're like down south in Georgia or North
Right.
Carolina, or you know what I mean? So that's another thing that ties into it all.
I was saying though, so I know when me and you talk face to face, um, you did mention some things. I did go and one of the things you mentioned to me, and I did go the same day to go check when you said you wrote on your status, I guess your Facebook status, um, that you know how you felt. I kind of went and read it. And saw how you were expressing yourself, and I noticed that a lot of people there wasn't like a lot of response where people were reacting, like liking your status,
Exactly.
giving you
Mhm.
care and stuff like that. But I felt like if she came out here and expressed this, that somebody should have said something or said like, "Hey, let me message you. Like,
Uh-huh.
see if you need, this is what family does."
Oh,
And
yeah.
um, if your concerns are like that, that's what should have been said in those comments. But when I was reading them, just like people look speechless because they're probably more shocked that you found out and they don't know how to react to it. And I mean, it's perfectly normal, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not always. I say I would never say that word again. To Kamara, know the word I'm trying to say, and I'm not going to say it because I can't.
Comfortable. Comfortable.
Say it for me
Comfortable.
because I can never get that word out. But you when you meet people and you actually find out they're your family and stuff like that, it's not the same as already knowing the family that you know. It's
Exactly.
never the same. And I try to address my family like that because
Mhm.
they always, call me sometimes when you come down here, come visit, come do whatever. But you can do the same thing with me. You can come up here and visit too. Don't
Right.
be asking me to come down there because that's not how I work. I don't know y'all that well to just be jumping out
Mhm.
there like that.
Right.
Time for me. Like, but now I'm used to them because we have been interacting and more of my cousin, my uh that's like his favorite cousin. But he has so much energy like me, we connected. So we always talking. And so it's easy to go to him, he as soon as I can come down there, he'll come get me. Like, here, I'm coming to get you. Come on, hang out.
Right.
It takes because the relationships take time to build. That's why.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But when I
Yeah.
go see my it's just I'm still sitting there trying to make it real because I'm like, just like
Yeah.
12, I didn't know who you were. You know,
I
I
have
didn't
been through the same thing. Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
know? So it's
My
now when I see
cousins.
your living room, I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
I have a that took me to, my mom's brother who took me to the circus, who did all that. That's the no, when he comes around, it's like, oh, mom, but now this it's like I'm still here trying to observe and figure it out. Like, okay, so where are we going from here? That kind of thing.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
it's fine. Yeah, I do respect the fact that you did get on Facebook, and express yourself. I did want to say that part to you.
Oh, yes, and I wasn't expecting my family that I grew up with to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
Because they're blocked, except for a few of them, and they just sit back and you can see the views, especially if you do a reel, you can see the
yeah.
views. So I be seeing one person all the time, but he don't say nothing. I know he go back and he report. My
Ooh,
thing
ooh,
was, I'm not gonna have no more controlling family members. Y'all disowned me. Now I'm
mm,
going to search
mm.
for my own. So when I met the family member recently, within the past few days, he was a top match to two of my DNA matches. He would be their dad. That means he would be my half brother.
Right.
Mm.
And then he had found out after he buried his birth certificate father that he wasn't even his father.
Wow.
And I had spoken to his mom before, and she right there in DC. And I had spoken to her, and you know what she told me? She was like, "Oh, I was just a big out there. I
Oh,
was big. It didn't matter." She said it didn't matter who I was with. I was just a big what? Seriously?
oh.
At least she was being honest.
At least
Oh,
she was honest.
oh,
Yeah. So now it's not just about finding my unknown, but it's about finding well, it's gonna be our unknown.
me too. Me too.
Yeah,
Don't forget me.
yes, 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 of course.
Okay, I got another question. How do you handle how have you had and how do you handle someone who doesn't want to be involved? I know you said you had somebody you can see that they're looking but they never say anything. How do you handle those people? Do you uh like just put them off to the side and don't worry about them and focus on the people who want to do this, or
Yeah.
how does that work?
Oh, yes, yes. Just push them off to the side. They'll
Mhm.
come around eventually because then they're gonna want to know. Because by the time they come around, we're gonna already know.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because with the DNA, it's like the DNA can show you it was split it up. Now it splits it up. Who's on your paternal side, who's on your maternal side, and
Yeah.
sides, who's on both sides. That's the crazy part because
Yeah.
then that's matching on both your mom and your dad's side.
Yeah.
And so then it's also if you have like Pro Tools, okay, you just pay extra every month and it will show you your your DNA match connection to each shared match with you. It can be mother, father, brother, sister, grandaunt, and it just goes down the line.
Mhm.
But because there were so many like informal adoptions and just kids adopted, but their names change. I have one cousin whose name changed and her name was changed like 4 times. And she's in New York and she cannot get her adoption record open.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's kind of like me. I can't get mine open without a court advocate.
Mm.
Everything's sealed. The hospital where I was born burnt down.
Wow.
No,
It
no.
was,
Wait a minute.
mhm.
Have y'all ever heard of that hospital burning down, PG?
PG
No,
General.
Yeah, in Maryland. Have you ever heard of that hospital burning down?
not I.
Me neither.
Yeah, that yeah, it's one of them stories. I mean, that's one of the that's another one of those stories that we often hear as to why
Yeah.
the records aren't there.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they told me that I have to. They said the records are there, like for some reason. Yeah, the hospital burnt down, but the records were in the basement. So, in order for me, because I was born in '75, in order for me to get my original birth certificate, I have to have an advocate because it was a closed adoption. So, all those records are sealed.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, it's just, it's, yeah, part of the journey.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to ask you that too. What's the
Yeah.
most difficult or devastating thing that you found throughout your journey?
Ooh, me?
Go.
And
Several
everybody.
things.
Oh, it's been a couple things. Okay, you want to talk about those things?
Sure. Like for me, it's caused me to definitely latch on to even more once you get tired of it. But she's helped me so much. Like she knew because she's been in this hunt for so long. Like it's almost like she knew. She was like, time to get a therapist.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things I ever did. I definitely need therapy because these emotions come up sometimes. You think you've dealt with something and nope, pop right back up at the most randomest times, just like, wow. So the the part of my story that's been the hardest is going back and like really realizing that my biological mom, she had me, right? She left, well, she took me home for almost 2 months, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And then she brought me back to the hospital. She left me there and then she felt guilty and she came back and signed the adoption papers for me to go into foster care.
Wow.
And, like growing up knowing that like it caused certain feelings, that's why I was like, well, she don't want nothing to do with me, so whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But then like going back now in this search and reading those papers over again and reading that when she brought me back to the hospital, they thought I was like a month or two old. And I was actually almost 3 months
Wow. Oh
because I
wow.
was tiny. It seemed like she just didn't want anything to do with me. And then trying to figure out where did she have me because at this time she was a married woman, but that
Yeah.
ain't my petty.
Oh,
Had a whole nother child in the house that she was raising
Yeah.
that said that she didn't. I found we've had conversations. I thought she was going to come out to be my half sister. She is not.
Mm-mm. So the girl living in her mom.
it's not even. It wasn't even. Yeah, it wasn't even
That's
her
not
daughter.
her mama.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, mine is that's opposite for me because when I met my sister from my father's side, because I'm gonna be telling you guys, I was the only child for 12 years. So my mom had my
Oh,
brother. My mom had my brother when I was 12. So he was the only sibling I had known about, until 2012. And then I found out about the other three, which is two sisters and a brother, but the brother on my father's side is younger. Um, and the two sisters, we all are the same age.
ah,
Yeah. So one of the
there you go.
sisters, yeah, so one of the sisters passed away with her mom. They was in a car accident, and then the other sister is in the Navy. So we met. Now, remind you when we found out about each other, um, her, well, I'm gonna say my
I get
his
it. Hmm.
yeah. So he called himself telling her about me and sent her a picture of me, and he sent me a picture of her and wanted us to meet, introduce ourselves. And so he gave me her name to look her up on Facebook. I did, just curious. It's like, okay. So I have a sister, something I haven't had before, but I look her up and I send her a message. I said, hi, nice to meet you, whatever. No response, no response, nothing, no response. Okay.
The next
So
one.
a person like me, yeah, right. A person like me, I grew up in the hood, so we don't go chasing. I ain't pressed because I don't know who you are anyway. That's how I felt. But when my passed away and we all went to the funeral, and she walks in like we had a conversation before. And she comes and sit beside me and says, "Oh, hey, Nina." So I looked at her, and it was all in my face. And I was like, it's not the time and place, Nina, but you can do the right thing. So I was cordial. I said hello, and then that's it. Cause okay,
Uh-huh.
you get where I'm going. So this is stuff we all is a reason why we need to know who we are dealing with and who we're akin to. So when we say this is what she was doing, Ancestry, I can relate. And that's why I told her, I said, come on my podcast because this is something other people need to hear. And I just feel like, yeah.
I appreciate you doing this because
Thank you.
from from my journey, and it's only been a year for me. And I
Right.
can't imagine like people that have been in this longer, like just year after year and dealing with the emotions and not having anyone. Like, when she's going through her search, like she's so inspiring to me and so strong because like she's going through this and people just like that denial and just, people just totally just, no, no. Like it's hard to deal with.
Right.
It's hard to deal with on your own. Like I have her to run to when somebody talks to me crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you wait till I call my cousin. You just
Right. Because I snapped back.
it's just knowing that you have that is different than like going through it alone. So I want to be there for her. I want to be there for anyone that's going through something like this because it's definitely like just the emotional side of it. It's just it's I don't even know what the word I want. It's something. It's definitely something.
It's emotional. Um it's a life lesson. It's an experience. It's a journey.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of things. You can't just name one.
Wanted to give up so many times. And there's things like I know like me and talk at least once a week. Probably more.
Right.
Like if one of us like backs off or something, like there was one week I know I hadn't heard from her and it was a week and I'm going back on like, did something happen? Oh my gosh, is she okay? But then like, I also have to take a step back and realize like it's emotional for her too. Like you're gonna get those days when you don't want to deal with it at all.
Right.
You just
Right.
make it through that day and all that. And then there's other days when you find something and you get so excited because, like, say you run down the names and then something else pops up that you've never seen before.
Right.
Yeah. So it's definitely a journey as an experience. And I'm bringing my kids right along with me. Like, I'll tell them stuff. My kids are in their 20s. So like I'll hit them up sometimes and be like, "Hey, did you know someone?" They're like, "Oh, wow, okay." They know
funny.
anytime I hit the basement, like I'll come down to the basement. They're like, "Oh, okay, we ain't gonna see her for a couple hours."
Yep.
Like, yeah, it's definitely been a journey. Like mine is not as straightforward for sure. Like it also has me questioning everyone, like in my adopted family, because I'm just like, they know things. They know things that they have not said. Like,
Right.
and cousins I've talked to recently, like they'll go as far as to say, oh, because they know, like now I'm on the search for my dad, and they'll come out and say things like, oh, I thought you knew. Knew what?
Right.
Exactly.
Like, please complete the sentence.
Mhm.
Nothing. So I'm still searching. And I really appreciate you guys doing this and being there and, like, shedding some light on, people's journey, because a lot of people don't talk about it. They don't.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you two, I do want to thank you again. We both are going to thank you guys. Because this is our first interview with other people right now. Kamar's always usually asking me questions or sharing the stories, because that's how we balance each other out. She's more a questionnaire, and as you know, I'm more of the talker. Yes, we kind of balance each other out. So when I told me that you both were coming on, I was grateful for that, because I think, but part two, we do want to start asking the questions that was provided to us with you guys.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to Let's Talk Old School. Pull up, baby, take your seat. Kimara got the stories. Nina H brings the heat. We laugh about the back then, the games, the shoes, the coats from Friday night hangouts to the streets we used to own. Oh, we remember that, the way it used to feel. Old friends, new answers, keeping it real. Let's talk old school. Let's talk old school. Back when the whole room knew. Back when the whole